A group of really talented bantamweight fighters was left over after the Ultimate Fighting Championship acquired World Extreme Cage Fighting in 2010. Dominick Cruz, the current WC Bantamweight champion, was the most well-known competitor in the class. This episode will examine the Bantamweight title's introduction into the UFC and the fighters who have won this esteemed title. As usual, if you appreciate this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Let's now examine each Bantamweight champion in UFC history without further ado. Number 1. Dominick Cruz. Dominick the Dominator Cruz is the current holder of the UFC Bantamweight Championship, which was formally established on December 16, 2010 as the WC Bantamweight Championship. Dominick Cruz had previously defeated Brian Balls at WC 47 to win the WC title, which he successfully defended twice before switching to the UFC. At UFC 132, Cruz made his debut as a new promotion's owner and successfully defended his championship. Cruz faced his longtime adversary Urijah Faber that evening. Faber had given Cruz his first defeat back in 2007. The much-anticipated Bantamweight Championship bout for the organization came up to the expectations. Cruz and Faber entertained the crowd with a fight that was awarded Fight of the Night. While the contest was certainly competitive, the Dominator had done enough to warrant a decision victory and keep the Bantamweight strap. Sadly, Cruz would defend the belt just once more against Demetrius Johnson before suffering a major setback. A series of ankle-related injuries kept the inaugural title holder out of action for nearly 3 years. As a result, the UFC was forced to strip him of the Bantamweight crown. Though he was inactive for much of it, Dominick Cruz's reign as champion lasted 1,117 days. Number 2. Renan Barao. The UFC made the decision to create a temporary title while Cruz was out. The fighter who won the title was Renan Barao, a fighter from Brazil. For the temporary title, Barao upset seasoned competitor Urijah Faber on July 21, 2012. He would go on to face Eddie Wineland and Michael McDonald in consecutive interim championship defenses. On January 6, 2014, after nearly 9 months as the interim champion due to Cruz's permanent injury, he was officially crowned the indisputable champion. Subsequently, at UFC 169, the Brazilian eliminated Urijah Faber's chances of winning the championship once more in what would be his only defense as the undisputed champion. However, it would be Faber's protege TJ Dillashaw who made Barao's run as the king of bantamweights with a stunning upset win at UFC 173. Not counting his run as an interim title holder, Renan Barao was the undisputed UFC bantamweight champion for 138 days. Number 3. TJ Dillashaw Serrano. California's Cody Dillashaw stunned MMA pundits by securing a TKO victory over Renan Barao in May of 2014. With the win, Dillashaw captured both the UFC Bantamweight Championship and Upset of the Year honors. The former Division I wrestler would go on to defend his title twice against Joe Soto and in a rematch with Barao. But just when it seemed as though Dillashaw would have a protracted reign as champion, a well-known figure made a comeback. Dominick Cruz made a comeback to win the championship. He never lost inside the octagon after overcoming injuries that may have ended his career. In what ended up being an extremely intense fight, the two squared off at UFC Fight Night 81. Cruz has completed a full circle in an intensely fought bout by regaining the Bantamweight title via split decision. Dillashaw spent 603 days in his first season as the division's top dog. Number 4. Dominick Cruz. Sadly, Cruz's second reign as champion was much shorter and concluded in a more traditional manner. Urijah Faber, the young Californian, was the Dominator's well-known opponent during the first defense of his second reign. In June 2016, the rivals squared off against one another once more at UFC 199. Cruz kept the bantamweight gold around his waist this time around by choosing a decision victory that was mostly decided in his favor. Of course, the person who would dethrone Cruz in the title picture would be none other than another understudy of Urijah Faber. The 25-year-old undefeated Cody Garbrandt would put on a striking clinic and win the bantamweight title at UFC 207. This time, the Dominator had managed to hold onto the title for 348 days before ultimately suffering his first loss inside the octagon. Number 5. Cody Garbrandt. To become a champion, Cody "No Love" Garbrandt overcame possibly the greatest bantamweight of all time. But even after his incredible victory at UFC 207, Garbrandt was unable to maintain the momentum. Nevertheless, during his tenure, one of the most intense rivalries in UFC history occurred. Cody Garbrandt, an alpha male teammate now on the squad, wasn't too fond of TJ Dillashaw, who had departed the group amicably. As a result, there was a great deal of hatred between the two coaches, which was evident during the 25th season of The Ultimate Fighter. The friends-turned-enemies ultimately faced off inside the UFC octagon at UFC 217 in November 2017. That evening, Garbrandt rocked his opponent early before falling victim to a Dillashaw knockout midway through the second round. Though he never defended the title thanks to the time taken to film The Ultimate Fighter, Cody Garbrandt enjoyed a 309-day title reign. Number 6. Dillashaw. Dillashaw's second go-around as champion started off with an immediate rematch with his former teammate. At UFC 227, Dillashaw once again defeated Cody Garbrandt in a more convincing fashion with a first-round TKO. With Garbrandt firmly in the rearview, Dillashaw set his sights on Henry the Messenger Cejudo in the flyweight championship. However, Dillashaw's quest to become a two-division champion ended abruptly when the Messenger landed a flurry of strikes that forced the referee to halt the action just 32 seconds into the fight. Unfortunately for Dillashaw, following the Cejudo loss, things would go from bad to worse. The former Team Alpha male member tested positive for a banned substance in a post-fight drug test and was eventually suspended for 2 years. As a result, he was forced to vacate his title 501 days after capturing it. Number 7. Henry Cejudo. After defeating Dillashaw, it turned out that Henry Cejudo also dreamed of becoming a two-division champ. The flyweight title holder decided to move up a weight class and challenge top contender Renan Barao for the vacant bantamweight strap. The two men met in June of 2019 at UFC 238. While Cejudo struggled during the opening round of the fight, he eventually managed to pick up the pace and even scored a TKO win late into the third round. For his first title defense, the Messenger would face the inaugural UFC bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz, who had once again battled back from an injury. Cejudo overwhelmed the Dominator and ultimately won the contest with a second-round TKO after defeating Cruz and firmly establishing himself as the world's best bantamweight. Henry Cejudo shocked fans and pundits alike by retiring in the cage at UFC 249, thus ending his 352-day title reign. Number 8.
Petr Yan.
With the UFC Bantamweight Championship once again up for grabs, Dana White and company decided to let top contender Petr Yan and former featherweight champion Jose Aldo fight for the talented strikers collided on Fight Island at UFC 251 this past July. While the contest was initially competitive, Yan would eventually take over in the later rounds before ultimately putting his opponent away in the 5th round. Petr Yan is now the reigning bantamweight title holder and is expected to make his first defense at UFC 259 on March 6. His opponent will be the red-hot Aljamain Sterling, who is fresh off a first-round submission win over Corey Sandhagen. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Apart from that, thanks so much for watching and we'll see you on the next one.